I'd always been able to care for myself and take care of my daughter.
Unfortunately, I was laid off, and that was hard.
The only place that had a real option was Washington Women in Need.
3 women, independent, capable, productive, yet challenged by events beyond their control.
How do you get health insurance when you've been diagnosed with cancer?
Washington Women in Need, providing women with the tools to create a better life for themselves and their families. Barbara was a new mother and a successful business owner when fate intervened.
I have a women's accessory and handbag business. I made a good living, was able to take care of myself and my daughter for a long time. Like I said, this year would be 9 years. Having breast cancer was a complete shock. Once I was diagnosed and found out what my course of treatment was going to be for the breast cancers that I had, it was very, very overwhelming knowing the surgeries that I was facing, the chemo that I was going to be undergoing. It was going to be 24 to 28 weeks, which is, it seems like it was never going to end. And so it was a very unsettling time. How am I going to pay the bills? How am I going to pay my health insurance? How am I going to take care of us? At that point, there was some things that I was going to need some assistance with. And I was put in touch with Washington Women in Need, and I made an appointment with Janet. Janet explained to me that WWIN has a grant available so that they pay your health premium up to a year, and then they also pay $1,000 worth of your deductible. Washington Women in Need has just really been able to remove a part of that stress by helping me pay my insurance premiums. They have counseling available, which is something I think that I'm going to have to look into one of these days. I thought I was fine with having breast cancer, but I didn't realize that it does have a big effect just on some of the, just on your overall life. You know, I'm getting through it. Things are improving. I have undergone some surgery. I've got some more surgery coming up, but I'm finally able to see the light at the end of the tunnel and know that this chapter of my life is going to be closed and I can move forward and get on with the good stuff.
Judy, a mother of 5, former teacher, restaurant owner, and community volunteer, faced an obstacle she couldn't overcome on her own.
I was having some dental issues at that time. I would have toothaches and then a tooth would fall out. And then 4 or 6 months would go by and it would happen again. I didn't have any health insurance. Casual conversations had become more difficult with people, and I talked to people and I'd feel a kind of a reticence. They found it maybe embarrassing to look at somebody with no front teeth. I had a friend I hadn't seen in several years, and he was appalled. And he got a list of names from someone, and one of the dentists had someone working there who was familiar with Washington Women in Need. I filled out an application, and then I got a phone call, come in for an interview. And it happened very quickly after that. The grant was $3,000, which was enough to get my dental work done, and I could choose the dentist and how and when I used it. Some of the things that I noticed that I didn't even know I missed, like the first bite of coleslaw. I love coleslaw. And I hadn't had coleslaw in years. I hadn't been able to chew it. Once I had my teeth, I found that my social life and my ability to communicate with other people just grew. My mother is, well, right now 96 years old, but she is blind. She is that type of blind that comes on with old age. And I thought, you know what would be kind of neat would be to record a book, and then my mom could hear it on the tape. So I went down to Washington Talking Books and Braille, thinking of recording a book, and they asked if I'd be interested in doing radio because they had an opening. And so every Saturday I go to my mailbox and get the magazines that have come in during the week and put together a 1-hour show. I just love it. I wrote a little note to Washington Women in Need, and what I said there was, even though I'm a senior citizen, I now have much to look forward to. I'm looking at the world with new eyes and new hope for what the future will bring. And so, from the bottom of my heart, I really would like to thank Washington Women in Need for making that possible.
I started out at Tacoma Community College, and it took me a number of years to get my 2-year degree there because I'd have to stop for a while and work and raise my son. It took me 8 years, but I got it.
Despite her further education, perseverance, and long history of productive employment, Cindy was laid off when funding was cut at her organization.
And from that point on, things started really deteriorating. I had no money. I stayed with friends. I had no job. Virtually, I was pretty much homeless. I was starting to realize that I needed, the thing that would help pull me through this was I needed to have a focus. I needed technical skills in graphic design and web design. I don't remember how I heard about WWIN, but when I saw it, it was just like this instant connection. And so I was determined that this was the only way I was going to be able to make it back. So I had to call. I had to start calling at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I called and called and called, and I got a person. And I told her my story, and that I was still fighting, and I couldn't believe her voice. She totally understood. When I got to the office, I couldn't believe it. She said that the grant's yours. You've met all the requirements. You're eligible for it. You have it. All your books and tuition is going to be paid. I have started my own business. I have a business license. I've even written a financial plan. I have a number of clients now. I sent in samples of my work and my grades, and I sent them to you because I wanted you to be proud of me. I wanted you to know that your money was not being wasted. It's hard for me to go there because I was just so grateful. It's made an amazing difference in my life.
Washington Women in Need, empowering women, achieving wellness, creating futures, one woman at a time.